I'm not a powerful speaker. That's why I enjoy writing. Often when I speak, my sinuses get clogged up. I sound nasally. I'm not the most eloquent speaker. I stutter. I could go on forever. But I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's copywriting tips. Words are powerful, and improving your ability to speak helps you improve your ability to communicate. Yet the written word gives you the most leverage and able to go and cover a broader audience. Why is it important to understand which words that sell? Well, in a presentation, you're going to either inform, explain, or persuade. Now, you can inform people all day long, but they may not use the information because they haven't been persuaded to find value in the application. So they had enough value in the learning that they showed up, but not enough value in the learning to do anything. If you explain something, they might understand why they do it. They might understand when they do it, but they don't know how to do it. And again, knowing how to do something, knowing why to do something, those things alone have no value if they don't implement. Ultimately, speaking gives you the opportunity to communicate with somebody one-on-one, having a conversation. Doing a presentation in front of an audience gives you an opportunity to present one-to-many. But writing down that presentation allows you to reach the largest possible audience because you don't have to be physically involved. I collect old books. I have books on my shelf from the 1800s. I have books on my shelf from the 1900s. Those writers are dead. They've been dead for years. Dale Carnegie passed away a long time ago. But Dale Carnegie's insights and information has been leveraged by thousands of people that he never was able to speak to. So let me share with you a simple strategy to use words and not only improve your speaking skills, but to use words to create written materials that can then be used in a variety of ways to promote your business, to increase credibility, to influence marketplaces, and to produce a legacy that is only available through communications. Now, words that sell that are important. You've written sales letters. You've written probably special reports. What if there was a way to create those materials more quickly and more accurately? Well, it starts simply by creating an outline. We want to create an outline that is persuasive in nature and covers the key points that a typical audience member would want to have covered. Now, this is important. We don't go straight into writing something. We don't go straight into speaking about something. We first create an outline to make sure we have the right key topics relevant to our audience. Now, how do we know they're relevant to our audience? Well, next, we're going to adjust or expand our customer avatar. That audience what represents that audience. We're going to expand and adjust that specific for the topic at hand. We're going to understand, what are their concerns? Why do they need to know this information? What's important about this information? What can they do with this information? Why would they use this information when we just keep asking the questions and writing it down? Now you've got an outline and you have some relevant context for the outline. Let's do some research. The research is going to be facts and trivia and implementation, case studies, all that background reference that's necessary to make the topic interesting to the other person. One of the challenges with my speaking is that I tend to just teach. I tend to just teach. Now, that's useful for people who want to learn, but it doesn't give you the context to take immediate action. And that's why in my presentations, I try to incorporate stories about past clients, about what I've read elsewhere, what I've seen as examples. That's what you're going to research, and you're going to bring all that information together. Then after that point, you can then write a sales letter, do a presentation, or otherwise create a piece of material that would help some target audience. However, that's not the right next step. That's where a lot of people start. In fact, a lot of people start there. They just start writing, and it's not the right thing to do. The outline, the audience, the research gives you all the context necessary to start writing. But again, what you don't really have is a real audience. You have an avatar audience. Now is the time to start doing lead generation around that topic. So instead of writing a big article, you might record a 15-minute podcast. You might record a 5-minute podcast. You might otherwise create a series of articles and set it up in an autoresponder. The key is lead generation is most important before you write the sales letter, create the presentation, or package even a product. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because when you start getting a real audience with real questions, you can then address those specific concerns they have and start monetizing the materials. Now, it's a little bit different if you're creating a lead generation for a customer because you wouldn't have as much context with the customer. You would maybe write a draft sales letter first and then digest the sales letter into lead generation. But you're still going to do the outline. You're still going to do the research. You're still going to do the audience analysis. But again, we're going to collect a real audience. When you have a real audience, you're able to make the materials more contextual, more relevant, more influential. And you don't need a big audience. In fact, you can get on a particular topic about 100 people and get them involved in teleseminars, get them involved in interviews, get them involved in paid consultations, and you'll get enough information to create a useful piece of intellectual property. So a useful sales letter, a useful special report. You might create a sales letter that offers the special report. You might have a package of research that you realize would make is valuable to potential copywriting clients. And so you might create this material and this outline, and you might reach out and find actual clients to create the materials for your client. That's actually the best deal, because if you're constantly writing stuff for yourself, and I know this from experience, if you're constantly writing stuff for yourself in your newsletter and you're not getting paid for it, you're on the wrong end of this deal. There's an unlimited supply of information and content on the internet. You don't want content, you want capital. You want clients. So again, outline, contextualization with the audience, research, then lead generation. Generate some leads. Hey, I'm researching a topic on X, Y, and Z, and I'm interested in experts in the marketplace to interview to discuss why. You could go. This is what's powerful. You could go in to a marketplace and interview 100 top leaders in that marketplace to do a podcast series that ultimately is a setup for consulting service, or for a copywriting service, or for a business development process, and never ever really write a finished product. Now, eventually you'd want to create a finished product because you can package it as a training resource. You can package it as a giveaway. A lot of my reports of finding from consulting have been written into special reports. The special reports are made available for sale on my website, which they don't really sell a whole lot because I don't market them a whole lot. But as far as my private clients are concerned, they might say, hey, Justin, I have a challenge with such and such. I can say, well, here's a special report I did on that topic. Let me know if it answers all your questions. 90% of the time, it answers 100% of their questions, and that small little sliver is a revision to the report. They might say, well, great, this report solved 90% of our problems. However, there's this little area we need additional information. Great, let's focus on that additional information. And then I either write another report, or they pay me for a consultation, or whatever it is. What we're ultimately doing here is creating artifacts around a specific topic, niche, or problem to solve, and then drawing from that library of materials to solve that problem over and over again. It is an efficiency strategy. Now, I opened this talking about how sometimes speaking is difficult. I stutter, my nose gets stuffed up for some reason, I have to sneeze and cough and burp, and I don't know what's going on. I have a little bit of anxiety when it comes to getting up in front of a bunch of people. However, you'll have greater confidence, greater ability to speak in a reasonable and understandable way. All this and more when you follow the strategy I described of an outline, audience research, research in the topic, lead generation, and then ultimately some kind of deliverable. Now, what's exciting about this is it creates expertise in the marketplace. It cultivates your authority for a topic area or a subject area, and you can focus this on just about anything. In my case, I focus this on affluent customers, so I have a large library of materials around affluent customers. I've also focused this around certain skill areas like risk management, project management, supply chain, and of course, you're involved in the copywriting and communications part of this. These offshoots become ways of finding clients. These offshoots become ways of creating credibility and influence. And ultimately, you benefit because it gives you a deeper level of understanding in a topic. It's a very odd yet powerful way to improve your ability to write copy that sells, because again, lead generation is a way of testing, but also to have a certain level of certainty that lets you invest in an audience. So I'll give you one last example from Dan Kennedy's Magnetic Marketing. Let's say you follow the strategy and you've created a special report that solves a unique problem for a customer. You dial back that report from teaching to more persuasion. You put a call to action at the end, and the call to action is a paid consultation. Guess what you can do with that? Well, you can do Dan Kennedy's Magnetic Marketing. You can recycle your lead generation materials, mail it to a specific target list as a letter series, offer the special report, and the special report offers a paid consultation. So you're basically get a check in the mail, or somebody goes to a website and purchases a consultation. And now you have the leverage of media in order to reach a larger audience using residual material and artifacts created in the natural course of your everyday work. Think about how efficient that is. Think about how effective that can be as far as finding you customers. Now, it's a little bit more than just creating a website and hoping people show up. You really would want to research a list or rent a mailing list. But ultimately, you wouldn't have to do the work twice. See, the challenge with speaking is that when I get up in front of an audience, if I don't record that speech and I just do that presentation, it's gone forever. However, if you record it, have it transcribed, and then use it as part of your research, you can speak one time and sell it many times. You can talk about, in my case, I did a presentation on affluent customers. What influences affluent buyers to buy what it is that you have to offer? I did a presentation on it, had it transcribed. The client who paid me for the presentation got a copy of the transcription. I've since revised that transcription and created articles. I've revised that transcription to write sales materials for people. I've revised that transcription to offer an affiliate product. I've gone back to the well many, many times. And what you're going to end up with is a handful of binders on a shelf that give you all the details and research that you need to do writing assignments. From memory, you're going to have understanding of the context of particular products and services, the context of what influences certain audiences. So not only are you creating better writing, better speeches, better training materials, better sales letters, you're also investing in your expertise and credibility in a marketplace. Folks, this is a easy to follow series of steps to approach writing assignments. It's also very easy not to do. It seems so much easier just to sit down and talk about a topic. But again, if it's informing but not persuading to take action, then the audience will feel like they kind of, that's great to know, but I don't know how to use it. If it is only persuasive, they feel like they're getting sold to. If it is kind of not clear what their next step is, then they can be happy with receiving the materials from you, but not actually, like they got to go buy materials from somebody else. They don't know to come back to you to get more services, to get the work done for them. It's just, we got to close the loop. And the way you close the loop, again, is to start with an outline. Start with that high level. What's the big idea? Make sure it's relevant to the audience that you serve. Research the context that makes it interesting. Lead generate around what you know already. And then again, you'll have an audience that you can then put larger materials in front of, whether it's a special report, whether it's a sales letter, whether it's a webinar, doesn't matter. And then ultimately you end up with clients, more customers, more satisfied customers, more customers that recognize you as the expert that you are, and they will come back again and again to buy your copywriting, marketing, or business development services. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. If you've enjoyed what we've covered today, I encourage you to take specific action. The next writing assignment you have, I want you to approach it a little bit differently. I want you to go back to your library of materials and use it as research. Recycle what you have as far as marketing. And ultimately, this will help you create and keep profitable customers and transform business relationships, and the profits guaranteed. You can visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk to ask your questions. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm Justin Hitt with the Ad Briefings Copywriting Tips newsletter.